I was sitting here enjoying an adult beverage or two or however many. And I was thinking about the past. I'm a very nostalgic person, for those of you that did not know that. Doesn't necessarily mean I live in the past. I'm not one of those people that constantly, incessantly ruminates on, oh God, I should have done that. Oh, that girl really liked me. She was giving me the eye and I didn't talk to her. Oh my God, woe is me. Nothing like that, you know. Just thinking about the 90s because I was born in 1990. I'm 22 now. I'm a 90s kid and I enjoyed a lot of the things that came out in the 90s. And I was thinking of that even deeper. And I had a list of things that I was writing of shows and movies and music, things that I liked in the 90s. And I had things like Rugrats, Hey Arnold, Coach, Cat Dog, Keenan and Kel, Home Improvement, Ren and Stimpy, Boy Meets World, Rocko's Modern Life, Roseanne, Double Dare, Figured Out, movies like Toy Story, A Bug's Life, My Cousin Vinny, Good Burger, Angels in the Outfield, Space Jam, Forrest Gump, Tombstone, Apollo 13, Twister, oh god, my favorite movie of all time, Twister, and music like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, things like that. And I think of those things, and I think to myself today, uh, thinking about today's culture and what's popular with kids these days, if I were to be 7 years old all over again in the year 2013, because it's been 14 years since 1999, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I don't like thinking about that. But if I were to be transplanted into this world as a 7-year-old or a 6-year-old, whatever, what would I think? Would I be listening to Justin Bieber? Probably not, because even though I listened to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC when I was 7 years old, I couldn't stand Aaron Carter, I couldn't stand Dream Street and all the other child bands out there. But would I listen to things like that? Would I be buying into the crappy movies and the remakes after remakes after remakes? And I think probably. Because obviously, when you're 7 years old, you know, around that time frame, your awareness isn't heightened enough. You're not thinking of the president or politics. You're not thinking about Obama. You're not thinking about, abortion. You're not thinking about religion unless your parents are shoving it down your fucking throat. And if any of your parents are out there shoving religion down your kids' throats, I advise you to stop fucking doing that. You're not thinking of any of that kind of stuff. You're not thinking of sociological matters. You're not thinking of socioeconomic matters. You're not thinking of economic matters. You're not thinking of psychological matters. You're not thinking of world peace, world domination, nuclear proliferation. You're just thinking about being a motherfucking kid. And that's mostly what I miss, obviously. Just that youthful, that whimsical feeling of just knowing that, yes, you have these parents that may rigidly time you and be very strict, but at the same time, I mean, God, it's TGIF on TV, it's Boy Meets World and dinosaurs and Family Matters and Step by Step and Home Improvement and, yeah. Just being a kid, going outside and playing Pokemon cards at school, playing Pogs, playing Jacks, playing a card game, doing those little hand games, Batman, blah, 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 I can't even remember what it was. Just doing the things kids do. Because you're not thinking about all this shit. And as much as I do political videos on here, whenever I think politics, sometimes I think, wow, I grew up in a very political household, but God, I'd much rather be talking about that episode of Rocko's Modern Life that I saw, that episode of Rugrats, or talking about the clickamajigs on Nick.com back in 97. You know? It's just, I think about the past a lot. So, I'll probably still talk more, but what I want you all to do is answer that question. Do you think that if you were in today's culture, would you like the things that are pawned off as entertainment today, like Justin Bieber and Grayson Chance and all that kind of stuff? And discuss with one another. Share your memories of the 90s. If you were born in 90, 91, 92, 93, or even before that, let's say you're born in 89, 88, 87, 86, blah, 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 blah. What were some of your favorite memories of the 90s? The Hey Arnold, the Nickelodeon, the Nick Jr., the Blues Clues, the Little Bear, the fucking Gullah Gullah Island, that creepy shit, Allegra's Window. Just share some of your memories, the things you watched, the things you listened to, the things you read. Goosebumps, Animorphs, of course, definite, you have to say. The games you play, Tomb Raider, all, blah, blah, blah. Pokemon, of course, was just coming out. Digimon, even some people played that. And Just share some, create discussion with people, because that's what I like to see in my comments. Yeah, people might think I actually like it when people are funny in my comments. No, I actually like it when people are discussing with one another. And if you're a fan of mine, then it's nice to interact with other fans, which is why I have the Facebook and all that stuff. So share some of your favorite memories from the '90s, because I know I have a ton of them. Oh my god, I could probably sit here at this camera for hours and hours sharing some of my favorite memories, coming home from school, flipping on Nickelodeon, and it was Stick with Nick in the afternoon at 3 p.m. playing shit like Angry Beavers and Hey Arnold and Rocco, Ren and Stimpy, things like that, and then eating dinner, going out in my backyard, just being a fucking kid on my swing set, playing baseball, pretending that, that there were some robbers and I was beating the shit out of them. And of course I started getting into wrestling, so I was doing choke slams and tombstone pile driver. Fuck, I was 7 years old. Give me a goddamn break, alright? Doing things like that. It's just the more I think of all the classic shows like Roseanne and the movies like, like Twister and Polly, the more I think of it today, is shit really getting worse? Is it objectively getting worse? Or is it a subjective notion of, well, you were younger then, and you didn't think about things as much. Like, like if I were to watch Rugrats today, that's one of the shows that adults and children could enjoy. Same thing with Hey Arnold. Same thing with even SpongeBob, for that matter. There were plenty of references in there that even adults could pick up on and relate, where they go, oh yeah, I don't see that much anymore. Am I the only one that sees that? Like, when I turn on Nickelodeon and see some of these shitty-ass live-action shows, and especially shit like Nick Studio 10, I'm like, this is just purely pre-teeny fucking garbage. I don't know, man. It's just, I think, and I'll tell you this, if they do invent a time machine, I'll be the first motherfucker on that thing back to 95 or 96. I mean, shit, I first got internet back in 1994, and I was probably one of the first people in my school to have it. And Nick.com, every time I got home from school, you click on, you put in my username. Oh, God, I'm not even going to share it with you all. My username for AOL, it was blank junior 123, and my password, I can't even remember. But, go on there, my first destination, Nick.com, after the beep, 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 56K. And going to Nick.com and playing the fucking click-a-majig games. And, like, from the show All That, for example, they had a show called Miss Pidlin's Peas. There was a skit called Miss Pidlin. Kenan Thompson was like this crazy lunch lady. And it was very shitty animation. I don't even know if it was Flash, but you'd fling peas into her mouth and it would open. And then Josh Server would come in and say, here's more peas! Just that kind of shit. And then I would check, like, wrestling results and things like that. But, just the summers, especially the summers, because I'm not in high school anymore. In the summers, it's like, what the fuck do you do in the summer now? You go to work! And snow days. When it snows here in Michigan, when it snows here in fucking Kalamazoo, it's like, you get to drive in it now. But back then, you had somebody else taking your ass to fucking school, and you didn't have to drive in that shit. And if it snowed more, if it snowed enough, you got to stay fucking home. And you got to watch Nick Jr. You got to watch all that shit. You got to stay home, have hot cocoa, and... yeah. Man. Can you believe it has been 14 years since 1990? The last year of the 90s. It's been 14 motherfucking years. I would have been 8 years old until November 27th in 1999. When I would have been 9, obviously. My God, even the sports! I hate to keep dragging this on, but even the fucking sports! I mean, NASCAR, it seemed to have better coverage. The announcers weren't such fucking homers. I mean, it's just... I should probably shut up. Baseball! Fucking baseball! Just... okay. I'm a very nostalgic person. Post your memories. Maybe we can have some sort of discussion going here and let's talk about our favorite memories of the 90s. And then maybe those that didn't live in the 90s can, sort of get a better glimpse, aside from the little flashbacks they show on TV. Get a better glimpse of what it was like to be a 90s kid. the Pogs, the Pokemon cards, the PlayStation, the N64, Super Nintendo. If you go back a little bit farther, the TV shows, the TGIF on ABC with Boy Meets World and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the blocks on Nickelodeon that they used to have, you know, all that kind of stuff. Double Dare and Guts and Legends of the Hidden Temple and going to school and being able to take a fucking nap and not get bitched at by some crabapple teacher for doing so, and you know, the 90s when the economy was booming and we couldn't even notice because we didn't give a fuck because we were kids. The 90s. Well, there's that one thing with OJ, too.